In the meantime, the government has moved to advance its rural development policy with the launch of the Essex Valley Agro-Processing Facility in St. Elizabeth. The facility has been positioned as a major pillar in the administration's agricultural and economic strategy aimed at boosting value-added production, food security, and export potential. Officials argue it will help reduce food imports, create jobs, and modernize farming communities. By the way, at Coronation Market, tomatoes are $50 this week. Tomatoes at Coronation was $800 in December. It's $50 this week. Carrots, $100. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Favour Williams acknowledged that the economic fallout from Hurricane Melissa has altered public expectations around taxation. The minister refused to commit whether or not there will be tax increases in the budget coming up. While Jamaica has enjoyed a period of tax stability, the minister suggested that post-disaster recovery may require difficult fiscal conversations. This reopens political debate about how the government balances recovery, spending, social support, and fiscal discipline. Taxation, always very politically sensitive, is now firmly back on the national agenda. After 10 years of no taxes, it appears as if the government may be considering, or is it a strategy? Is the government preparing the public psychologically for new taxes? And if it is, who is most likely to carry the burden if taxes are adjusted? Could this become a major political flashpoint heading into the next budget cycle? Stay tuned. It will be a fascinating budget debate 2026. In the meantime, in one of the most closely watched legal and political development, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has explained its decision to accept a manslaughter plea from former PNP. The DPP says prosecutors could not disprove the defense of provocation raised by Silvera in his account of the incident. There were no eyewitnesses to the shooting and no forensic evidence capable of conclusively contradicting his version of events. So the DPP, citing Jamaican case law, concluded that a murder conviction could not be safely secured, making acceptance of a manslaughter plea the legally appropriate decision. Silvera is to be sentenced in March. The case has triggered intense public debate, especially given Silvera's former political role and wider concerns about domestic violence and accountability. Some questions to be asked is, was this a legal decision only, or does the public perception matter here? Does this outcome undermine confidence in the justice system? And how should political parties handle cases involving their former members? This is a big story. In other political developments, bipartisan caucus of women parliamentarians continue to push legislative focus on issues affecting women and children, including cybercrime and abuse, signaling rare cross-party cooperation on social policy. So the caucus of the women met in Parliament yesterday. What do you think about that? Is this caucus likely to produce real legislative change? Nonetheless, they met yesterday. Well, those are the major political stories making news today. Of course, you're listening to Politics Plus with your host, hello neighbor, and Caroline. Stay tuned as we break these issues down and explore what they really mean for Jamaica's political future. We shall be going to the notes in a few minutes from now. Welcome. Stay with us. That. I tell you, Jamaican princess, don't worry about a thing. Every little thing's gonna be all right. Don't worry about a thing. Nobody does it like us. Watch out. Watch this now, eh? Andre, I saw you today. I saw you today, Andre. Andre, I saw you today. Andre, I saw you. Marley. 19. Oh my goodness. Boss, your bed tech said you're on the Politics Plus podcast. And you're not last. You're not last. You're first. Leave the others in the dirt. My goodness.
Hey, babes, remember the pizza?
That's not that. Let's go with that. Big mash down the place now. Flash the locks. Fly.
I'm on the rock, and then I check a stop. I had to run like a
Zion, lion. Oh.
Save the life I live. I'm gonna be iron like a lion in Zion. I'm gonna be iron like a lion in Zion.
Oh, what a Friday on this year show. Just letting you know, we go with you until 9 o'clock. Oh, all across Jamaica to the world. Oh, Sheena Gibson, I see you in the chat. Oh, what a chat tonight. Oh, you're in the Bahamas. What a day today. Come true. Oh, look, this Marley. Oh, wow. Pull the Marley up. Pull it. Let's hop over to Florida and find our moderator. He's in Florida. Good evening to you, Caroline. How you doing?
Good evening, neighbor. I'm doing fine. How are you?
One love. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a bit cold here, but I'm fine.
Fantastic. Great. Is it cold in Florida tonight?
It is pretty cold.
Oh my goodness, I can hear it in your voice, huh? Do you like my virtual virtual fireplace? Do you, do you like my virtual fireplace?
Actually, I do.
You do? Oh, wow, that's nice. And wouldn't you like to join and let's do the show from here?
Well, neighbor, it's not that cold.
Okay, great.
Good evening, listeners and everyone. Thanks for joining us and welcome to the Politics Plus podcast. Please tap the screen and share the live. Please remember to repost. I'm sorry?
Yeah, I see my PNP in the say later. He's gone back. Who is that? PNP? Who is PNP is having the one? We like the call. Go ahead, Caroline.
Listeners, could you please press that white arrow at the bottom and then that yellow circle to repost the live? I see we have 163 people here, but can I have everyone repost the live now, please? Neighbor?
All right, let's go. Yes.
Neighbor, before you go, don't you think we should have Scratch's playlist?
Yes. Did you get it?
No, he's right there. He wants to know what time is it. It's now.
Oh, wow. Well, let's have it. Let's have it. Come on, let's go with it. I can delay the notes for a little bit. Let's put Scratchy right up. Well, it's scratching on the scratch turntable. I hope his music is not scratch up, you know. Scratch it.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not.
I hope it's not. The scratch up, brother. Well, listeners, here we are on a Friday. Today is Bob Marley's birthday. And, yep. 4 neighbors, 1 mic. We're in the competition. There's not a competition because nobody can beat Caroline. Her songs were top notch. But you have something for us to play, sir? Let's have the first one. What's it?
You're gonna play them. You're gonna play them.
You have them queued up?
No, you want me to text them?
No, man, just give them to me. I punch them in and they'll come right up.
Okay.
We have the system here. Or you can
my first song.
No, neighbor. Let him text them to you.
Okay. WhatsApp them to me. Okay.
Alright, then WhatsApp them in order. I'm gonna WhatsApp them in order.
Yeah, but they won't be played all at once. You hear?
Neighbor.
Yeah.
All of mine was played at once.
We're giving you a second take on it, Caroline. Okay.
Well, can I change my play?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
No, Caroline shouldn't be able to go again.
No. Well, we have to set the rules. So we're gonna have to play them out. Okay, let's play them out. Go ahead with all the songs. Just WhatsApp them to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna WhatsApp them.
All right, great. All right, so Mr. Friday, let's have a little bit of fun. Goodness gracious me, what a drop scratchy coming through on a Friday. Ow! Florida, great to have you.
Neighbor,
I
do understand that some of our listeners do have their own playlist as well, and yes. I'm going to encourage them to send them to me.
Okay, all right.
I remember it's a maximum of 5 songs.
Yeah, I haven't gotten scratches yet, you know. It's taking a lot to come from Canada. He's in Canada, so it's taking a little time to get across the ocean. Reel that up and come again. We're in are you tonight tuning in from on the Politics Plus podcast? Tequila. Oh, come on, yeah, girl. How you doing? Take care of yourself. Andre, hi.
Listeners, could you type in the comment section where you're listening from, please?
Tell us where you're tuning from, yeah? All right. Daphne, boy, you're in Toronto. Lorna is in Florida. Oh, Maryland. Oh, Shari. Oh, Daphne's in Bronx. Oh, Pressa is in Australia. New Jersey is online. Look at that. Birmingham. Oh, it's moving too fast. My goodness. Maureen, you're in Portmore. I can't get them all. He is in Canada. Oh, Andre is in Vermont. John is, oh, we're all over the striking world. Ian Thompson, oh, Brampton, Ontario. John, you're in Queens. John. You're in Canada. Oh, Twickenham Park, St. Catherine. Wow.
I send my list, sir. I send my list here, sir.
You send me a list. All right, great. All right. Caroline, help me to welcome the listeners. You see them there in the chat. Tell us where they are.
We got Twinkle from Massachusetts.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Daphne's in New York, that I know.
Yes.
And Joan Banks is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Lovely.
It seemed like Scratchy bought some votes.
His pocket is deep. Well, yeah.
It seems so, neighbor. I
He has a deep pocket.
People start voting
He's a comrade
already.
Yeah. He's a comrade.
No, these are loyalists. They don't have to buy our votes.
He's a comrade.
Jamaican Princess is in Long Island, New York. Blaze family in Connecticut. Ridley Wright is in Florida. Oh, nice.
All right, great. All right, let's go to the
welcome Charmaine from the Bahamas.
Great. Hi Charmaine, how you doing?
Latoya Roberts is in Alabama.
Alabama, wow.
Callis J is in Montego Bay. Wow.
Montego Bay, wow.
Oh yeah.
Montego Bay is on, right? Great. Who is that?
Callis J.
Callis. Oh, Callis, Montego Bay. Oh, great to have you, sir. Wow.
And Harry's in Jamaica.
Who is that? Who is in Jamaica?
Harry.
Harry. Is that our Harry? Waking up Harry?
Yes,
you want to Andrews? Oh, you want to Andrews there, Harry. All right. All right. Out of Canada, Scratchy.
Bob Chin is in Tivoli.
Scratchy's in Ontario.
Number one from Scratchy. You make me stronger. Right. What's going to be number two? Coming from Scratchy. Number one. Kevin Downswell, you made me stronger. Oh my goodness. Who's gonna get the most votes? 4 neighbors, 1 mic. Oh, what a show. Number 2 from the scratch. Garnet Silk, Mama to his mother who is listening to the program. Going in for number 3. Oh, you see that halfway tree? Number 3. What a brilliant Friday night, eh? Number 3, two to go. Scratch his playlist on this your Friday. Oh my goodness. 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Harry is going to be coming up on Saturday. And of course, course, your neighbor will dun them on Sunday. Dun them on Sunday. Oh my goodness, Caroline was first. Cratchy's second, Harry's third, and your neighbor is fourth. Who is going to, in what order will they come? Or who's going to be on top?
Can never be friends, so no.
All right. Goodness gracious me, love and hate. Can't stay in the same plate.
And hate.
Can't stay in the plate. That deserves a pull-up, man. Eh?
Neighbor. Hello, neighbor.
Yes, sir.
This final song now that you're gonna play now, neighbor. Just, you know this one mean a whole lot to me, you know, neighbor. So just kind of play this one a little bit longer. There's a possibility I might get a bit emotional on this one as well, you know.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
This one is definitely for the situation that I'm currently going through right now.
Yes.
My family and everyone, you know. But yes, this song is dedicated to my daddy, you know.
All right. Kevin Downswell Stronger. Garnet Silk Mama. Affairs of the Heart, Junior Gong Marley. Dennis Brown, Love and Hate. And finally,
Neighbor.
I'm right here, brother.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone, neighbor, for the condolences. You know, neighbor, it's definitely, especially to my mommy right now, neighbor, you know. My mommy and my daddy has been together for 40 years, neighbor, you know. So I know it's not easy for her right now to know that, you know, someone who you wake up to for 40 years beside you, you know, you're not seeing that person no more, you know. She know my dad before me, even though it's my dad, yes, but she know him before me, neighbor. So I just want to say condolences to mommy. Mommy, I'm here with you. Standing up for me, the mommy. Love you then and still love you now. To the rest of my brothers, just hold it and do what we have to do. To my daddy, you did well. You made us all proud. You did what you were supposed to do. You're a real father. You shape all of us life. And just say I'm proud to call you daddy every time. No shame in the game.
Fantastic, brother. Fantastic. Pushing through moderator. Where do we go next?
Well, Neighbor, did you say you were going to play Jamaican princess songs at the end?
Oh yes, I will do that.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, before you go, Neighbor, I just want to let Scratchy know that, you know, we love him very much and we're standing with him. So, Scratchy, you're not alone. Okay, we know it's a very difficult time for you, but just know we're always here for you. Neighbour.
Thank you, Carmen.
All right, moderator, maybe we should open the lines and invite our callers to chat with us. What's on their mind? Let's see what's on their mind. Maybe we should do that because if I should go back to the program format, gonna throw us off a little. What do you think?
Well, Neighbour, I think we should go for the show. The listeners are here for the show.
All right, check the chat for me, please. Check the box. Check the box. Yeah, good night. Good night, Natasha. Hi, good night. Hello. Capital 5, good night to you. Hello. Hello. 5, Capital 5, hi. Carmen Foster, no. Yep. 1 John. One John. Not there? No. Okay. Don. Hi, sir. Hi. All right. Let's grab that. And these people are maybe tappers. Let's grab that. All right. Good. Let's go in then. Please note that if you have not contributed to the program this week, tonight is your night. You should send a gift or you should go to our Zelle account and register your support for the Politics Plus podcast so that we can be here next week. All week you've been listening to the program. You have not sent a $10, not 5 or 20, nothing. Wow. Well, tonight, don't do that. Go to 954-635-8732. That's the Zelle account or the Cash App, and register your support for the Politics Plus podcast. Do I have to say that again? Do I have to come back with that? Or will I hear from my moderator that my listeners have said yes to us continuing? Next week, next month, next year, please support the Politics Plus podcast with your contributions tonight. Zelle a gift to 954-635-8732 or the Cash App, which my moderator, you should know that by now, but my moderator will post that. We do not expect that you would be just a passive listener. Actively support your favorite podcast so that we can continue to do better for you. Okay, so you have not sent not even a single rose since you have been listening to this program? That's not nice. That's not nice. Come on, man. Don't do that. We have pulled together powerful team, and we're asking you, take a moment, go on your phone, take a moment. Are you listening from your tablet or your laptop? Take a moment, go into your TikTok gift, send a gift to the program. You have the Zelle account, go on the Zelle account now and send what you have. What's in your account? $5? Well, we'll take that. 20? Maybe 100? Well, whatever you have, please. We have not been doing well in terms of contributions, and we can't continue without your contributions. Your contributions is what keeps this program going. I will tell you that. The day we stop getting contributions is the day we have to lock it down. How are we going to pay the light bill and the internet bill and pay the people that help us to produce the show and to keep us going? No, you have to do something for us. Quite frankly, we're not asking you for a lot, you know. If each of you give us $1, just $1. Don't expect you to sell $1, but think about this. Every little counts. We're not making great demands because we know you have your own responsibility. But as a national project, we're asking you to make a very special effort. Maybe it's a weekly amount of $10, a weekly amount of $5 or $20 or $50. What can you do? Please go to the Zelle account at 954-635-8732 right now and register your support for the program. Let me take the time to thank those persons who have constantly given to us. We want you to know that we appreciate you. We appreciate you. Jamaica Princess, we'll play your songs towards the end, all right? Okay. Let's pull this back up a little. Okay, yeah, there you go. Go back in. So we're asking you to take a moment. Yeah, all week you haven't done anything for the program. You have been a listener and you appreciate what we do. Please support us by sending a gift from the TikTok gallery, which maybe just a rose. If you send a rose, it helps the program. In terms of TikTok recognizes that we are doing well. And on the other end, you are in Canada. Are you in Canada? Are you in Canada and you want to support your Politics Plus podcast? Well, we have an what is it called, moderator? E-transfer. If you are in Jamaica and you want to support the Politics Plus podcast, send a WhatsApp to 876-858-9553. And you'll get a response. You can do that from a local account. All my listeners should send something to the program tonight. Every one of you. It's even $5 because it is very much needed at this time. See how I have to be taking 5 minutes out of my notes to make the appeal to you? Send a gift to the podcast tonight using the Zelle account. Yeah. What do you have to give? What's in your hand? 20, 30, 50, 40, whatever amount, so that we can make sure that we stay on for the entire week next week. When we are secured, yeah, then we can do better, you know? Just want you to know that, okay? We shouldn't have to be asking, will we be on or will we not be on? Because we don't do advertisements. We don't do advertisement on this show, and we are not in anybody's pocket. Nobody is paying us. So we ask our listeners to help us to keep the show going. Not all of it, you know. We're not asking you to finance all of it. We're asking you to finance the little that you can. Please send something to the Zelle account tonight or the Cash App. All right, let's go to the notes. Prime Minister Mark Carney said these words as he addressed the World Economic Forum a couple of weeks ago. Go ahead.
You shouldn't mourn it.
Okay, all right, go back to Carney. Go ahead.
Nostalgia is not a strategy, but we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just. This is the task of the middle powers. The countries that have the most to lose from a world of fortresses and the most to gain from genuine cooperation. Middle powers must act together, because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. We know.
All right, you hear that? Mr. Carney said, if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. Those are profound words. Thank you, listeners. Thank you for your gifts. Mark Carney's statement is not merely political realism. It's an old philosophical warning dressed in modern power language. And it has reverberated across the globe. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. The world is full of competing appetites. And in this world of competing appetites, nations exist in a perpetual state of contest. And only those who speak, bargain, and decide are spared from being consumed by the decisions of others. If you are not at the table, you're on the menu. A table is not furniture. A table is agency. A menu is not food. A menu is objectification. And so to be on the menu is to be described. To be on the menu is to be priced. To be on the menu is to be consumed without consent. To be at the table is to name oneself. And this is the tension facing Jamaica, and by extension, the Prime Minister. In a world where small states are often spoken about, negotiated around, and extracted from, but rarely centered, History has trained powerful nations to view the Caribbean as resource, route, resort, or risk. Small countries like Jamaica, resource, route, resort, or risk. Sugar was once, bauxite came later, tourism now, geopolitics always. The plate keeps changing. The appetite does not. And this is a struggle between being for oneself and being for others. A concept of Jean-Paul Sartre when he warned about when your identity is altered externally. Think about it. Your name, you did not choose. What if you could choose your parents? I ask all of you listening to me tonight. What if you could choose your parents? Would you choose your mother? The mother you have? Or your father? What if you could choose your parents? Like how you choose your husband, or your husband choose you, or you choose your wife. What if you could choose your parents? When your identity is altered externally, your freedom collapses into function. And Jamaica must resist becoming a noun owned by someone else's sentence. The menu is a list without speech. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And the Prime Minister is being asked to ensure that Jamaica is not merely present in global rooms, but positioned, not invited as flavor, like scallion and thyme, black pepper and curry, garlic and chicken seasoning. Not tolerated, but trusted. Not silent while others decide trade routes, climate responses, digital sovereignty, or security architectures that will shape Caribbean futures. Taking Jamaica off the menu does not mean abandoning diplomacy. It means deepening it. It means converting strategic geography into strategic leverage. It means refusing the old colonial grammar where power speak and islands listen. The table is where sovereignty matures. The table is where small states survive large appetites. The table is where Jamaica stop being selected and start selecting. This is not about size. It's about stance. And you ladies, you ladies know a little about size and stance. But that's for Sunday. And the world is quietly waiting to see whether Jamaica will eat or be eaten. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. You're either going to eat or you're going to be eaten. Let's come right back. We're not done yet. Tashina Gibson, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Tashina, why are you laughing?
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just. This is the task of the middle powers. The countries that have the most to lose from a world of fortresses and the most to gain from genuine cooperation. Middle powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. We know the old order is.
There you go. If you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. The Prime Minister did not assume leadership of a nation comfortably at the table. When Mr. Holness took over Jamaica, we were not at the table. Jamaica was not seated among decision makers. Mr. Holness inherited a country exposed, fiscally constrained, strategically predictable, and globally perceived as manageable rather than formidable. My Labourite friends, listen. I tell you every day, you've gotten it wrong. You don't know what you have, and you don't understand the enemy. So you're not marketing properly. Under decades of PNP governance, Jamaica's sovereignty had been thinned by debt dependency. Our young people in this country are struggling for context. They do not understand the history, and we are civic illiterate. Policy difference and economic fragility. The nation was present in global conversations, but as a subject, not speaker. Jamaica was known, but not consulted. Jamaica was studied, but there was no seat at the table. In physiosophical terms, Jamaica had become described as self-defining. Debt had replaced leverage. Aid had replaced autonomy. And good intentions had replaced hard power. This monologue that I'm doing, I should do it for five days straight. I should just repeat it. It is that important. This is what it means to be on the menu. When others decide what you are worth, how you are used, and when you are consumed. And if I may divert a little and speak to my ladies, and I want to be sensitive about that. Women, not depend no man menu. Come off of the man the menu. No make no man, because when a man put you on his menu, I eat him, I go eat you, you know. Keep your minds. strive for independence in this world. Anyway, get to that on Sunday. This is what it means to be on the menu. When others decide what you are worth, how you are used, and when you are consumed. The leadership of Mr. Holness marks a deliberate rupture with that condition, because rather than perform nationalism, he practiced nation positioning. His project was not loud sovereignty, but credible sovereignty, the kind that allows a small state to stand upright in rooms of giants without raising its voice. If you are not at the table, you're on the menu. And you have to understand the simple truth of modern power, that no one invites instability to the table. No one invites the instability to the table. Jamaican sit down at no table. We were always on the menu. Fiscal consolidation was not austerity for applause. When Mr. Holness spoke about bitter medicine, it's because we were on the menu. We were not at the table. And if you're not at the table, you better take the bitter medicine. But of course, we were not electorally mature, so you know what the result of that. It was emancipation from economic supervision. We never called any shots. Reducing your debt to GDP was not an accounting exercise. It was a philosophical act. It means that we will no longer borrow our dignity, because he that pays the piper calls the tune. And so by restoring macroeconomic credibility, Jamaica removed itself from the category of nations that must accept whatever is offered. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And in 2016, Jamaica was not at the table. We were very much on the menu. If ever there is history to be written, it must be written not on books, but in the minds of Jamaicans, that we were a nation of no value. We never had a seat at the table. It has nothing to do with our size, as the ladies will tell you. Size no matter. Oh, am I right? At the same time, the nation had to be repositioned geopolitically. The country was no longer a passive Caribbean waypoint, but an active node. To sit at the table, you must be useful without being owned. Gracious peacock, what are you laughing about? Culturally, today is Bob Marley's birthday. Jamaica has always punched above its weight. When it comes on to culture, music, we have always punched above our weight. In sports, we have produced Usain Bolt, Shelley and Fraser Price, on top of the world. But under this government, that culture of power began to translate into diplomatic and economic influence. If you are not at the table, you are on the menu, and I'm telling you how Jamaica under this administration came off the menu and at the table. Nobody can name we again. But we can go back, you know. And that's the sad truth. You have to stay on, hang on. We're going to get there. The brand of Jamaica, once exploited without return, started to be leveraged. Tourism, logistic, technology, engaging the diaspora became instrument of statecraft, not accidents of geography. Many of you listening to me, well, not many, some of you don't even understand the significant turnaround of this nation to take us off the menu and put us at the table. Where the PNP era normalized survival. Wholeness normalized strategy. They say he's a chess player. Study him and you'll realize that the difference between the two parties is that one kept the country in survival mode. The other provided the medicine for the patient to be released from the hospital. Where previous leadership managed decline carefully. You know, they had a term in the 90s called negative growth. This leadership has reversed vulnerability deliberately. And here is the quiet genius. Jamaica did not announce its arrival at the table, you know. It simply stopped asking for permission to sit. You know, philosophers tell us that freedom is not declared, it is exercised. Jamaica's movement from the menu to the table was not symbolic, it was structural. It happened in balance sheets, in security frameworks. You see this 40% reduction in crime, that's moving from the menu to the table. In our diplomatic posture, it happened because of leadership. Holness did not only change policies, he changed how Jamaica is read. Every person listening to me tonight, you are a part of history and you don't even know. You are a part of history and you don't know. This is not politics. Because my shirt is not green. This is reality. These are facts. And they are facts that Jamaicans must be aware of. We must become civic literate. No longer an item. No longer consumable. We are consequential. We don't have any more Usain Bolts, and no more Shelley and Frasers, and no more Bob Marleys. We have wholeness. I'm going to say that again. We don't have Usain Bolt. His era is done. Shelley and Fraser, But Jamaica today has an Andrew Holness. And what he has done for Jamaica, let me tell you, is monumental. It's not rhetoric. It's more than party politics. It is what leadership looks like when a nation refuses to be eaten. If you are not at the table, you're on the menu. And what I want you to understand is that never again should we go back on the menu. Never again should we go back on the menu. Never. We need to draw a line in the sand. And say we have worked too hard. Some of us have sucked salt through wooden spoon. Let's be honest. Jamaica knows this condition intimately. We have lived it. We have lived it. We have paid for it. And we have survived it. And we must never return to the menu. This country must never return to the menu. And I don't care if I am criticized for this. Andrew Holness is Jamaica's modern hero. What Holness has done surpasses all the previous national heroes. He has taken Jamaica off the menu where they would have nyam and put us at the table. It's not done yet. But I believe I'm speaking facts. I'm coming right back. If you have never contributed to this program, you have to do so tonight. The program is lacking in support, and we need to keep going. Okay, so I'm gonna ask my moderator to keep the I know she knows what to do, but we're asking you to make a very special effort tonight to support the live and to Neighbour, me like you very much. Thank God for you, sir. God chosen vessel. I like you too. The Zelle account is 954-635-8732. We also have Cash App and or just send something for us, please, tonight. Thank you. Don't leave tonight before you send it, okay? We need to confirm that so we can push forward for next week. We have lots of new ideas and new programming for you. Can't afford to miss it. The Politics Plus podcast with Hello Neighbor, Caroline, Harry, and Scratchy. Right, let's get back to the notes. We must never return to it. The leadership of Holness did not inherit a nation at the table. Jamaica was not at the table when Mr. Holness took over. He inherited a country laid out, exposed by decades of mismanagement. Pardon my language. It's like a man looking for a woman. You know what, let me not say it because the women may be a little offended. Holness did not inherit a nation at the table, which is why his leadership is so heroic. He's a hero, you know, fantastic leader that has not got the type of credit. And I'm challenging my labor right friends to step up your game and support your prime minister. Fiscal recklessness, ideological nostalgia masquerading as governance. The PNP was ideologically nostalgic about socialism parading as governance. What we had in the 90s wasn't governance. It was almost cultism. A group of people singly focused on themselves, not the nation. Quite frankly, none of those who were part of that administration should ever be in parliament. That's a failed bunch. And somehow, the Jamaican people seemed to have been wedded to the deception. But lies, you know, have an expiry date. Did you know that? Lies have an expiry date. You can't lie forever. At some point, if you don't repent, you will be exposed. You can't cover it up. And when you start to take a lie to tell a lie, somehow you get exposed. Under the PNP, Jamaica was predictable, indebted. That is the most dangerous posture a small state can assume in a world governed by appetite. I could tell you about bauxite. You know bauxite? PNP forward sold bauxite, you know. Forward sell it. You know how much? I tell you. Anyway, we'll get to the bauxite one of these days. When a country is on the menu, others decide what it is worth, how it will be used, and when it will be discarded. That's the legacy that the Prime Minister inherited. All of you that are expecting magic need to understand that. And I keep saying every night, the party must embrace the historical politics. The PNP era normalized dependence and dressed it up as compassion. It trained Jamaica to look onward for rescue instead of inward for discipline. It made debt fashionable and sovereignty conditional. And the world responded accordingly, not with respect, but with terms. And when the terms were not favorable, we saw the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich since slavery on this island. The menu was the IMF supervision. The menu was policy written elsewhere, not at the Ministry of Finance. Because when you're on the menu, you don't even have a finance minister. It's a puppet. Somebody's sending me a message here. Let me figure out what they're saying. This is what the menu really is. Supervision. Policy written elsewhere. The menu is aid. And aid arrives with instructions. When you enter into a IMF deal, there was a time when we had farmers in Jamaica had to dump milk. Dump milk. When you enter into some of these deals, they come with conditions. The menu is being spoken for in rooms that you are not allowed to enter. And that's why Mr. Holness understood something his predecessors either ignored or accepted. That is, you cannot be poor and proud. You can't be poor and proud. Poor and bossy. Omar that. Omar Davis. Poor Rambosi. Was an arrogant man. When you heard him on the Breakfast Club, you couldn't believe that he wasn't the best. Can't be poor Rambosi at the same time on the global stage. Pride without power is decoration. So the work was uncomfortable, necessary, and strategic. Debt reduction wasn't cruelty. It was escape. You ever in a credit card debt yet? Oh my God, it's a noose around your neck. Fiscal discipline was not punishment. It was protection. And so by restoring economic credibility, Wholeness removed Jamaica from the category of nations that can be pressured, rushed, or coerced. The country became stable enough to say no and credible enough to be listened to when it said yes. This is how you move from the menu to the table. You stop being desperate. When you're desperate, you will sell yourself. You will go on a back road through desperation. Come off a people menu. This is how you move from the menu to the table. And the PNP's posture in the last election threatens to return to the menu. That's why I find it disheartening. This is sobering, listeners. I'm sorry if I am upsetting your Friday night. Their rhetoric flirts with fiscal looseness. Their politics romanticizes a past where Jamaica was perpetually struggling but hopeful. A poet would describe it as exploitable. Exploitable. They speak as though the discipline that secured our seat is optional. You remember this? You remember this cliche? Balance books, why balance people's lives? That's nonsense. Balance books while balance people's lives? That's rubbish. Only sound good. Fact of the matter is that you don't balance the books, you're always going to be on the menu. And so Jamaica, having made the sacrifice to get off the menu, cannot go back there. As though global power has softened, as though appetites have disappeared. They have not. The world has not become kinder. It has become more competitive. You see what is happening in the Caribbean? Guyana is the fastest growing country in the world. Trinidad, the world has become more extractive, more impatient with weakness. To abandon the policies that place Jamaica at the table is to volunteer once again for consumption. And let's be very clear. No nation accidentally stays at the table. You have to defend your seat. You have to earn your seat. You have to maintain your seat. And what the government has done is that they are guarding the legacy. A legacy of sovereignty backed by substance. And to undo that is not change, is regression. Regression dressed up as empathy. We do not want to be back on the menu. We do not want to be back on the menu. We cannot afford to be back on the menu. And history will not forgive. Hear me tell you, history will not forgive leadership that places us back there again. And if Jamaica allows itself to go back on the menu, I can tell you this, me are the first one. Find somewhere else to go. This is not about party loyalty. It's about national survival. We must not go back on the menu so that nobody can yam us. That's what the country needs to be focused on. This is not about party loyalty. It's about the country's survival. The table is narrow. The menu is crowded. And Jamaica has already paid the price of being served. Never again. You ever broke yet? You ever broke? And God bless you. And you come out of brokenness. You ever walk yet, man? You ever not have no car and you struggle at the bus stop? God bless you with a little car. Pledge yourself, man. Never again, man. Implications of the menu are clear. Who's that sending that to? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. When you are on the menu, you lost your policy sovereignty. Others decide what you can afford, who you must align with, and how fast you must comply. Dr. Peter Phillips said that the humiliation he suffered at the IMF, he hoped that no other finance minister had to go through that. That's what Dr. Phillips said. Peter Phillips. But serve Dr. Phillips right. Because it was Dr. Phillips. Dr. Phillips was part of the government that kept Jamaica on the menu for over 18 years. When Dr. Phillips went to the IMF to negotiate Jamaica's standby agreement, he felt what it feels like to be on the menu and not at the table. And Favour Williams today cannot suffer such indignity. As a matter of fact, one of our own, Nigel Clark, is a deputy managing director at the IMF, to tell you how far Jamaica has come off the menu and at the table. And we know they are criticizing the Prime Minister. We know they are calling him names. We know set on ungrateful people. But you don't understand. It's because you don't understand. Don't understand. When you're on the menu, you are economically vulnerable. Capital becomes conditional. Credit becomes punishment. And development becomes delayed permission. When you're on the menu, you are strategically irrelevant. You are not consulted, you are managed. Being at the table means you negotiate, not beg. Being at the table means you choose partners, not patrons. Being at the table means you shape outcomes, not absorb consequences. This is the difference between leadership and nostalgia. And then the PNP came with time come in the last election. Time come for what? That's what they said, time come. But history demands that we ask harder questions. Jamaica was not seated. Jamaica was served. When time came for Jamaica, they were served. You know what they were served? It wasn't tasteful. It wasn't tasty. Because we couldn't even buy patty. And if you are not at the table, then you are on the menu. So when this same party that placed the country on the menu tells us time come, we must interrogate the invitation, because time come is an invitation to be interrogated. But it wasn't prosecuted well, you know. The Labour Party did not prosecute that case well in the last election. And I watched them struggle. The party that placed the country on the menu now come and tell the country say time come. That is an invitation that should have been interrogated and wasn't prosecuted well. Is it time come for empowerment, or is time come to be eaten again? Is it time come for debt dressed up as development? Time come for this dependency sold as compassion? Time come for borrowed money, borrowed policies, and borrowed dignity? Because that is what the menu looks like. The menu is where decisions are already made. The menu is where the price is fixed before you arrive. When you're on the menu, you don't fix the price. You choose. You want steak, or you want goat, or you want fish, or you want mutton. Take that or leave it. The menu is where you do not choose. You are chosen. Let's not rewrite history, you hear, people. Under the previous administration, Jamaica was a nation waiting. We were at the bus stop, turn up a bus stop, waiting on lenders. Oh, how they celebrated a little money when it came into Jamaica. Waiting on approval, waiting on rescue. A country permanently in line. Jamaica was permanently in line, waiting. Permanently hopeful. Permanently vulnerable. A little hurricane blow, and the whole of our rear end out a door. That's what their time come. A time of exposure, when Jamaica's future could be recorded by forces far beyond its control. Permanently in line. What a shame, what a disgrace. And you know, as I look across this land, this country, Jamaica, and our people, I wonder, do they know their history? Do they know where they're coming from? So no, time did not come. And Jamaica paid for it. Then came a different question. Not time come, but choice. Because the Labour Party did not promise a moment. They demanded a decision. Choose Jamaica. And that slogan was not poetry. It was philosophy. It said, choose discipline over drama. Choose sovereignty over sentiment. Choose the long road of credibility over the short road of applause. Because choosing Jamaica meant choosing the table. Even when the cost was uncomfortable. Even when the work was quiet. Even when the rewards were not immediate. Mr. Holness understood what the PNP either forgot or refused to accept. Time does not liberate nations. Choices do. Let me tell you, look at Haiti. Time doesn't liberate a people. Choices do it. It's a choice in. Choose Jamaica over time, people. And if the Labour Party had made that point in the election, it would have opened a lot of people's eyes. No time can come. It's choices people make that sets them free. There are countries today that are much older than we are, and they are poor. Choices. Choose discipline. You choose discipline over drama and sovereignty over sentiment. Time. No liberate nobody. Choices. You do not age into power. You do not slogan your way to respect. You build it. You defend it. And you maintain it. And here's the danger now. 9:30 is upon us. Here's the danger. When the PNP says time come again, we must ask, time come to undo the very choices that lifted us from the menu? Is that what we are to do? Undo the choices that lifted us from the menu? Is it time come to loosen discipline in a world that punishes weakness faster than ever? Is it time come to gamble credibility for nostalgia? Is it time come to return to a posture where Jamaica is discussed but not deciding? Because I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, the world is not sentimental, you know. The world is not patient. The world is always hungry. Because the menu has not disappeared. It's simply been rearranged. And so Jamaica's seat at the table is not guaranteed by history. It is protected by leadership. And if as a country you miss that moment, your children and grandchildren will not forgive you. You don't have a place at the table because of history. You have a place at the table because of leadership. Mayor Motley from Barbados. It's 280,000 people in that country. Very small. Portmore is larger than Barbados. And Mayor Motley, when she speaks, gets global recognition. You don't have a space at the table because of history. You have a space at the table because of leadership. And Jamaica must not fool around and lose its space at the table. And right now, that leadership is choosing restraint over recklessness. And all of you who are out there talking about Hurricane Melissa's money and how much money is to be gotten, note this, that if the government is reckless, you'll find yourself right back on the menu. The government cannot afford to be fiscally reckless and place the country back on the menu. That is what people need to understand. And that is why it is so discouraging to listen to the opposition, because they speak as if they do not understand that if you are not at the table, you're on the menu. We have to take position over populism and strategy over slogans. Let's just try and see if we can wrap this up. Maybe time come, but not for what they are offering. Time come to remember what the menu costs. Can I invite you? Remember what the menu costs. Time come to remember that. Time come to refuse to be priced, portioned, and pressured. Time come to choose not from the menu, but from the table. Because at the table, Jamaica decides. At the table, Jamaica negotiates. At the table, Jamaica is not consumed. Jamaica is consulted. And choice matters. Time come to change the nation. Choices do. And so I join with my Jamaican brothers and I choose Jamaica. I didn't say I choose the JLP. I said I choose Jamaica. Time come to defend the table. Time come to remember we have already been served once, never again. Once beaten, you can end that yourself. You know, you're a student in political science. Talk about social science. I hear Mr. Jackson talking about social science at the university. You could prosecute this case well. You could prosecute it, you know. You could say something like this. Members of the jury, who are the Jamaican people, we are told once again that time come. But before we accept the claim, the court must examine the record. Because slogans are not evidence. And memory matters. The charge before the Jamaican people is very simple, you know. And it is this, Mr. Perry, that the People's National Party, when last entrusted with power, placed Jamaica on the menu. When that party had the affairs of the nation, they placed the country on the menu. We had no choice in our sovereignty. And now they ask to be trusted again without accounting for the cost. The leader of the opposition is suggesting that all they need to do is to win 4 more seats. Under the PNP, Mr. Perry, Jamaica was governed into dependency. Look at what is happening in Westmoreland. Debt climbed, growth stagnated, and sovereignty became conditional. That was not accidental, Mr. Perry. That was systemic. When a nation cannot finance itself, Prod Perry, it must accept terms written elsewhere. When you go to the bank to borrow money, you don't write the terms, brother. The bank write that, you sign it or you left it. Sign the line, they say. You want them money, you have to take it. Under the previous administration, Jamaica was governed into dependency. High debt, growth, anemic. And we had our sovereignty conditional. But that's not accidental, systemic. When a nation cannot finance itself or any individual, it must accept terms written elsewhere. This is the definition of the menu, Mr. Perry. If you are not at the table, you're on the menu. And the PNP kept Jamaica on the menu for too long. You do not negotiate from debt. You have to comply. When you're indebted, you don't have no power to negotiate. You have to comply. And we mustn't, don't, And so your part would have us believe that time come has corrected this condition. But time come does not erase exposure. Time not come by history. Time come by choices. Discipline is what does it. Action, do that. And it was not the PNP who delivered that discipline. And I know some of you will talk about that 4 years under Portia Simpson when you were forced to apply the bitter medicine that Wholeness spoke of because of the 18.5 years of recklessness. to forget. Time come to repeat. Time come to risk everything that pulled us back from the edge. Let me tell you something. The party that made Jamaica edible cannot now say the party that made us edible cannot now ask if we are hungry for more. If you were prosecuting this case, the defense will say, they will say circumstances were difficult. They will say intentions were good. They will say the world was different then. But the world is more dangerous now, not less. And nations that flirt with weakness today are consumed faster, quieter, with fewer apologies. We should not return to the menu. We should stay at the table. The alternative is to choose the table. And Mr. Holness and the JLP did not promise a moment. The PNP promised a moment. Time come. The Jamaica Labour Party demanded a choice. See the difference? One party is about the moment. Time come. The other party demanded a choice. It's rooted in theology. For what did the Bible say? Choose he this day who he will serve. God be God, serve him. And if Baal be Baal, serve him. That choice meant fiscal restraint instead of fiscal romance. Credibility instead of convenience. Sovereignty built on numbers, not narratives. And because of that choice, Jamaica is no longer spoken for. Jamaica is spoken with. Not spoken for, spoken with. That is what sitting at the table sounds like. And so I put the question to the neighbors on the program. I put the question to the neighbors on the program. When the PNP says time come, the nation must respond. Time come to be eaten? Or time come to stay seated where we are fought to belong? Because we have already lived through their answers once. And Jamaica cannot afford to forget what the menu costs. If we forget what the menu costs, brothers and sisters, we will forever be in the perpetual cycle of defeat. Politics have no place in this argument. This is an argument purely about the future of Jamaica. For God's sake, take off your orange shirt and listen. History is not about not time come. History is about the choices you make. And if you're going to change your life individually and collectively, you make the right choices. This is not about punishment. It's about prevention. It's not about revenge. It's about remembrance. Because the table is not inherited. You don't inherit a place at the table. You have to defend it. And I tell you, history will be very unforgiving of those who trade it for a slogan. You can't trade your country for a slogan. Because to trade your country for a slogan is to return to the striking menu, where they will nyam you, spit you out, and place you back in a perpetual cycle of poverty. Now that Mr. Holness has lifted the country off the menu and placed it at the table, it's for the Jamaican people to decide. Do they return to the menu, or do they continue to sit at the table? Where do you want to be, Jamaica? On the menu or at the table? Those are your notes for tonight, Friday, the 6th of February, 2026. Great.
It's not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just. This is the task of the middle powers. The countries that have the most to lose from a world of fortresses and the most to gain from genuine cooperation. Middle powers must act together, because if we're not at the... We know the old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just. This is the task of the middle powers. The countries that have the most to lose from a world of fortresses and the most to gain from genuine cooperation. Middle powers must act together, because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. We know the old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just.
You know, these little distractions about Auditor General reports and all of them, so that's all. We have better things to talk about here, you know. Harry, let me pick you up. Hello, Harry. Hello.
Right, Neighbour. Everybody, Stephanie, Caroline.
Harry, 9 minutes to 10 o'clock. Harry, the fact of the matter, Harry, is that Mark Carney has said something that I sought to bring home to Jamaica. That quite frankly, Harry, we've spent too long on the menu. It's time to defend our space at the table.
Of course, Neighbour. It is, in fact, Neighbour, I think we would have been robbed of having a seat at the table a few decades ago.
Yes.
Right? In fact, for me, it is one in which, while on the menu, we had moments, right? And that is the thing about it. When you don't control or even have some of those variables of stability and respect,
yes,
because those are two things you have to earn and command, not demand it. Because
yes,
if you're demanding it, you have to be a massive world power.
yes,
And Jamaica doesn't have that. So we can't be that aggressive and abrasive in the approach. But the thing about it, Neighbour, is that coming from the menu, right? has been one that is a monument. Where we are now is a monument. And I want to break it down a little, because the next step from here, from being a monument, is to be monumental. And while monumental comes from the word monument, the difference is that where we are now, it is a shift, a physical thing. It is something where we're in right now.
Yes.
Right? But the next that is being honoring. So, for example, the crime rate that has been cut, the murder rate, right? That is a monument, because we're going to honor it. We're going to remember it, because it's a great event in our history. But now the next step is to be monumental, which is really more of a larger scale. So it's an immense scale of enduring significance. And two part there, neighbor. Enduring mean it has to be continuous.
Yes.
It also has to be evolving and transformational. So you can't stay static as the monument which was before. And the significance is where you get to have and maintain the seat at the table. Because if you don't have any significance, if you can't add value, right? Because before, we were valuable, but not valued.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that when you're valuable,
amen,
you don't know it.
Yes.
Right? You don't get to be fully on the receiving end, which was what was happening with Jamaica. And to show that, for example, the sugar deal that we had with the UK, we were getting a little toops extra. So we thought we were valued. But the UK saw us valuable because they could have gotten a grade type of sugar for chum change, basically.
Yes.
But the thing with it is that leads into what we're being described. So everybody else can describe us. We don't get to technically choose that aspect of it. But where we are now, or rather where we're going, right? We want to be descriptive. And what I mean by that is when you're described, others get to define you, right? Whether that is on surface levels or otherwise. But when you're descriptive, it means you're now engaging the senses. And these senses that are being engaged are by significantly greater power in size, in financial strength, weaponry, tech, but at the same time, because you are valued.
My brother, man,
you're seen.
You're sounding like a brilliant Baptist preacher. I have my friend Perry from the PNP joining us. Can you hold on for me? I'd like you to engage him, my friend Harry. Hold on for me. Let's keep this. Hold on, I'm coming back. All right. Hold on. Listen to this. Listen to this, listeners.
Father God, and you alone can help me, me no sin no other one. And when me looking at me life and where me coming from, me realize that, and this I did the plan. So me have to read a couple Father God, and you alone can help me no sin no other one. And when me looking at me life and where me coming from, me realize that, and this I did the plan. So me have to read a couple Psalms, and you a keep me strong. Me have to stand firm in the arm of Gideon. To serve you is a pleasure, cause you make everything better, and you give me the strength to carry on. Still all my.
All right, that's my friend. No, sir, I tell you, 3 minutes to 10 o'clock, and if we're not on the at the table, we're at the menu. We if we're not at the table, we are on the menu. Let's go in. Good night to you, Comrade Perry. How are you doing, sir? Hello.
Good night, neighbor. Good night, Harry.
Congratulations on that song, sir. Congratulations, eh?
Thank you, man. It will be released on Sunday.
Yes, and let's play a little bit more of it.
Draw me little closer, Father God, and you alone can help me not see no other one. And when me looking at me life and where me coming from, me realize that, and this I did the plan. So me have the...
All right, that's your comrade friend there, blasting out a little song. Is Mark Golin right it?
Oh, no, Mr. Neighbor. The Lord has blessed me with some talents, you know.
Yes. Well, congratulations, sir.
Yes.
And it sounds reasonable. But I have Harry with me. Harry?
Neighbor.
Yes, yeah. Perry's on. Talk to him.
Hi, Mr. Perry. I see you in the comment section, you know. Share your perspective on I like to hear it, you know. I want to hear the alternative views and so on.
I agree with neighbor, you know. I agree with neighbor that it's time for us to take off the orange shirt. And I will extend the conversation that it is also time to take off the green shirts too. I believe in choosing Jamaica, we have to be objective. And I think if we can put party politics aside, then I think we will see that we're all fighting for the same thing. And I'm speaking for myself, Harry. I think I am fighting for a Jamaica where we can bridge the political gaps and understand that, you see, this fighting against each other, it's not really going to bring us any good. So I agree with neighbor. Neighbor, I agree with you. It's time to put down the color thing and want better for Jamaica.
And to stay at the table, Perry. Wouldn't you agree that Jamaica today is gaining some respect on the global scene because of our the results we have had in our economic development, etc. Wouldn't you agree that the country is gaining some respect? I don't know if you recall, Mr. Perry, when former Finance Minister Peter Phillips went to Washington and came back to say that he wished no finance minister after him would have to go through the indignity of being on the menu where people determine and decide what you have to deal with. That's not sovereignty, Perry.
Yes, I agree with you, neighbor, that today we have seen a significant improvement as to how international relations is taking place. But what I won't agree with, neighbor, is that the PNP had nothing to do with it.
No. I'm not speaking about whether the PNP had nothing to do with it. What I'm saying to you is that Jamaica's position today in the world is more respected than it was, 2 decades ago. It's not true.
Well, I mean, that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
No, it's not a fair assessment. It is the truth. In other words, for example, over the last couple of months, Jamaica was able to secure a $6.7 billion loan in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, Perry.
But why?
Because we are at the table. If we are on the menu, we couldn't get that. That's the point I'm making. And this is why I really want us to forget the party politics here and speak about where Jamaica is. Because as I said previously, slogans don't bring us here, Perry. It's not slogans that do it. It is leadership. Right?
Well,
and I know you don't support you have your party that you support. But I want my listeners to understand that Jamaica today is gaining the respect in the international community because we are no longer beggars. Okay? When you bring your debt to GDP down to below 70%, it was heading to 60%. The international community see you as being able to pay your debt. And they will respect you. When you are broke and pauperized and begging, you don't gain the respect of lenders, Mr. Perry.
Yes, but wouldn't you agree, Mr. Neighbor, that in the past we've seen the works of the likes of, and I'm sure Harry can agree too, You saw Omar Davis dropping debt to GDP. They to the lowest that we've ever seen in the history of Jamaica. We have to give some credit where credit is due. So I'm not disagreeing with you, that Jamaica is at a place where we can engage international communities and get big loans. But we have to look at the come up. And a part of the come up is that for a period in time, the People's National Party also contributed to fiscal discipline. Yes, some of those policies were harsh, but we saw where Jamaica was able to end relationships with IMF for a time. And it was the PNP who should get credit for that too. So yes, we are able to get big loans, but it is very important, Mr. Neighbour, that we don't disregard the hard work of the People's National Party.
Well, sir.
Perry.
All right, go ahead, Harry.
Would you praise somebody who created a disaster that mops it up?
From
or
what
attempts to do so?
All right. So I get why you asked me. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to tell you why I understand your question, but why I have a little bit of problem with it. So I know persons are going to say it is PNP who caused the issue in the first place. So them coming
No, I'm not broad brushing it as PNP. I'm narrowing it down to Omar Davis.
So you're saying he basically so you're narrowing it down to basically Omar Davis created some problems and he, for the most part, attempted to fix it. So you're saying you're asking me if I should give him credit for it. But look at it this way, Harry. It would have been worse if the man didn't attempt to even alleviate some of the problems that we experience. Wouldn't that have been a worse off scenario?
I wouldn't say it would have been a worse off scenario because the end result defines what it is, right? You create a mess, right? One that would have wrecked a country who was in a decent moment for a period of time. And in an attempt to, I'd want to say, to kind of take a little shame out of the eyes and out of your face, you attempt to do so. Remember, Perry, he lauded himself as the best finance minister while being fiscally irresponsible for the best period in the modern history of the Western Hemisphere, right? And as such, I can tell you a lot of the things that had to be done were automatic. So, for example, I know persons from your party and so on celebrated the monetary policies and so on in 2012 under Miss Simpson Miller, right? Mrs. Simpson Miller. But the truth is, we were still, and that was the last time actually we were on the menu, because those terms and agreements were actually non-negotiable, right? We didn't have an input in those terms and agreement. We needed the money, not wanted, we needed. And while we needed it, it was a little bit better situation than in the 90s where we had to be borrowing to fix our budget, to actually meet our budgetary means at that significantly, almost every year in the 90s, right? And as such, that in its entirety was as a causation of us for a few decades stuck on the menu, failing in moments that we should have been better. And also that falls at the feet of poor management and leadership.
So what you're basically saying then, Harry, that Omar Davis did nothing to benefit the country nor the Caribbean? Wasn't his blueprint that the Caribbean modeled in terms of financial responsibility? All of these things are available on the internet. So you give Omar Davis no credit, Harry?
I would not give somebody the credit. I'll not be hypocrite and play the safe, pretty game when it comes on to that individual because of what he was an architect behind, right? That in itself, and you remember the article, I sent you the link to read and you'd see why my position is this strong. Probably the only time you'll hear my position this strong on a political matter. Because for me, apart from that article, I have inside information that I will not necessarily share. It may come out a little, but I know the inroads of that time while I would have been a toddler I know individuals who would have experienced it. And the thing about it, Perry, I think it's hypocritical to be praising somebody who created the very situation. If the person didn't create it, then we wouldn't have to have it in the first place. We wouldn't have had our backs against the wall for decades, ruining generations, right?
Harry,
And that for me is
I didn't want to
Go
interrupt.
ahead.
What did Omar Davis create, though? I'm keep on hearing that Omar Davis did something. There was a global financial crisis, and I think this may go into FinSac again, you know. But there was a global financial crisis that was affecting countries all over the world.
In what year?
Hold
Perry?
on, Perry. Hold on. Perry, you have your facts a little mixed up there, sir. The period of the 90s saw global economic expansion in almost every country except Jamaica. As a matter of fact, one of the mystery of the 90s was that the global economy was expanding so much and Jamaica was in decline. Isn't that so, Harry?
Somebody said that Omar Davis...
Hold on, Perry. Hold on, Perry. Is that so, Mr. Harry?
That what?
It was.
Hold on, Perry. Isn't it true that in the 90s we saw global economic expansion in a lot of countries, including the United States, and Jamaica was struggling? Wasn't that part of the mystery?
It is, because the funny thing with it is that we had technically the resources we needed. There was a boom with bauxite. We were practically positioned the best we had for a while, but we just never ever got the job done.
But Harry, the financial meltdown started from 1970
No. Hold on there, Mr.
Oh, no, Perry. No, Perry.
Hold on. Go ahead, Harry.
Perry, that meltdown didn't start in the 70s, right? And I'd love for you to research it as well, because that's why I sent the article to you. You see that thing they call the deregulation? It was something Edward Seaga begged not to happen. Literally came out publicly and begged for it not to be done. And he was ignored. He was actually one of the persons who they seem as if he didn't know anything. And he was still one of the best finance ministers we've had, right, in that time. And the truth is, you can, when you read the article, and that article is actually right? So it's not us saying what we think. It was somebody who was directly a part of it, Perry. Played a role. He was one of the head and buckle washers in the private sector that called for it, who fast-tracked it as well. And after they saw what happened, that article came up because he was what? He was upset. I mean, hindsight is 2020, because they thought it would have worked. And they didn't consult anybody else. Because the thing about it, when you deregularize a country and don't do it in phases, Perry, you have problems. And that is something I've seen for Jamaica. We don't accept things being done in phases. So when you do things in phases, you can nip certain things in the bud and you can correct it before it gets worse. But when you do this one big chop and don't have the full backing, the full understanding of it, then you have serious issues. And that's what we saw specifically between 1990 and 95, where our inflation went from 40% all the way to a high as 80%. And that's not me saying the numbers. Those are the numbers, right? Money was coming into Jamaica, of course, a lot of money from private investors overseas. Because what happened was that our interest rate was so high, locals couldn't stomach it. Businesses died because of that.
Yes, Harry, I get the FinSac analogy, but to say that Omar Davis...
You realize, hold on, Perry. You realize I didn't mention FinSac itself? I'm speaking of just the deregulation.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the thing I think a lot of people... Hold on. I think that is what a lot of persons, what I've seen, comrades and so on, once that moment comes up, they narrow it down to just FinSac. I'm not narrowing it down to FinSac. FinSac is a byproduct, but it's a baby compared to what totally happened. This money that came into Jamaica didn't drive any form of productivity. There was no production whatsoever. What happened? Persons were getting, right, converting the US dollar to Jamaican, getting some 30, 40, 50% return on their money. And that money left Jamaica back to the foreign accounts. Even with that foreign conversion, Perry, they were ahead of the rest of the world by some 20% returns. So imagine that. While Jamaica still had to be borrowing to just barely meet its budget. That's what got us in the position. So I will not give Omar Davis praise to try and correct something that he created. He created a monster, and I can't praise somebody for that, Perry.
I will disagree with people who say that Omar Davis started FinSac. I don't agree with that. That's the first thing. Secondly,
Perry, Perry, hold on, no, I'm not going to let it pass. I've never said that.
No, you didn't say that. I saw some laborites saying that Omar Davis started FinSac. That for me is incorrect, and I won't stand by that. What I'm trying to get at though is if it is a case where somebody is trying as the finance minister, because over 500 persons, the archives at the unit, there are archives there, I'm sure you probably know of it, where over 500,000 people received back money through the whole process in trying to mitigate what's happening. And nobody seeks to talk about those things. Nobody talks about how the debt to GDP was reduced under Omar Davis. Nobody wants to talk about the Caribbean using him as a model when it comes to financial management and accountability. Nobody wants to give the man any credit at all. And I think that is not right. It's almost like you're saying, Harry, that, all right, do you think that the Prime Minister is a perfect man?
Nobody is perfect, Perry.
Nobody is perfect, Harry. And wouldn't you think that any reasonable Jamaican could appreciate a minister in trying to fix an issue? Whether we want to pinpoint an issue on ARB, the aim of the Minister of Finance is there to correct financial issues. I cannot believe we would really not give Omar Davis no credit at all with the type of work that he did.
You know why he doesn't deserve it, Perry? You know why he doesn't deserve it? He knew what was being done, right? He knew what was being done. But my thing is, if you look at the magnitude of what was created compared to what you're mentioning, it is peanuts to where and what impact it had on the country. And for me, I will not be giving somebody credit by clutching at straws, by reaching for minuscule things compared to the magnitude of a disaster that was created with him for decades. And that for me, I can't just ignore something that is larger, that's grandeur in a negative sense, to just nitpick at one or two things that had to be automatically done. And that for me is not a fair assessment overall. That would be me disregarding somebody opening a wound and putting a band-aid over it, Perry. A wound that needs ER operation immediately. You're going to put a band-aid over it. That is what you're describing to me if I'm supposed to give Omar Davis credit for something like that.
I wouldn't say it's a band-aid though, but I understand your reasoning. But I think, as we know, that Jamaica has seen high times and low times. My thing though, Harry, is that the entire period, and again, one could even argue that through the relationship between Jamaica and even the IMF, you cannot make it seem as if the discipline that we see today, or we would like to give credit to an administration today, wasn't because of those very harsh policies that we had in the past. And again, economics will tell you this. There's a trail that you must follow. And my thing, Harry, is that the PNP in the past, they made some very harsh decisions, and it brought Jamaica to a point. And I will always say this, Harry, the Prime Minister did not get an economy that was under the water. The Prime Minister Andrew Holness, he got an economy that was above the water due to the very, proper management and the policies that the PNP implemented.
What would you call underwater? So I think this is subjective in a Perry. Because my thing is, and you would know, the People's National Party was the one who always said not to ever go back to IMF. In fact, they blamed IMF on the Jamaica Labour Party. Almost every administration. They painted it in an extremely bad light, as if it wasn't their mismanagement. And it's not me just, tit for tat. This is me going back for the facts and where they are, because they said, looking at the trails, right? And as such, because of the consequences of those times, poor management, poor regulations, and so on, for me in itself, the reason why I'd say you can say we were maybe above waters was because of what IMF did for us in 2020 and 2012. And again, I'm going to point it out. It is something, those policies, right? Because I understand those policies, and I'll break it down for the listeners.
Yes, they were.
Those policies, hold on. Those policies, for example, helped our stock market, but it wasn't policies for the government. Those were international monetary policies as terms and agreement that we had no input in, which lays back to what Neighbour in the Neighbour's notes were saying. We were very much on the menu at that time. And I'm saying that was the last time we were ever on the menu. And I'm hoping, based on the guardrails that will be coming throughout this term and so on, maybe beyond, can protect us from ever being back on the menu. Because we're now in a moment where it is a big monument for us. Right? I know we're not talking about the crime. We had poor economical situation. Crime was skyrocketing. But nobody wants to give the what I'd say the economical masterstroke contribution. They don't want to praise it, because that is one of the biggest things that helped us to be where we are.
What's that, Harry?
Right? The investments that are coming in, right, is as a result of that being done. Because you and I both know, Perry, that crime crippled Jamaica.
Yes.
And you may not know, but there's one political party that benefited heavily from it. I'm not saying parties don't have affiliations, right? But I can tell you specifically, and I won't go down the road, but I can tell you they're very much tied to it, which was as an incentive not to get crime under where it's supposed to be. And this is something in this new age we're seeing where political parties have moved away from that aspect. It is no longer a neck hold and a deciding factor. Hence why we are able to do the number that we're doing and looking to increase in terms of it being better going forward. Because all of these investments, I can tell you, Perry, that is coming in from Middle East, India, all around the world, right? Not just the Western Hemisphere. We had to do this. We had to get our economy right. We had to be fiscally responsible.
Yeah.
And sad to say, you sitting on the other side, right? Because I'm always going to be neutral. You sitting on the other side cannot boast well when it comes on to real fiscal management and fiscal discipline. Because growing up for me, this is the only administration I've seen that is able to have a country understanding what fiscal management is and abiding to it to a large extent.
Harry, we've seen reduction in crime under the JLP administration and under the PNP administration. I'm not going to sit here, Harry, and hear people always talk about, yes, crime went down and crime go down.
Okay.
Crime went down.
With respect, this debate, you see, is politically biased, and it is not factual. Jamaica, for much of the 2000s, the hand that helped place Jamaica on the menu was Omar Davies.
Exactly.
Hold on. You want to cut before you come. And the record speaks for itself. Omar Davies pursued policies in Jamaica that kept Jamaica on the menu. Firstly, Mr. Perry, under the leadership of Omar Davies, Jamaica's fiscal path became a corridor of dependence. Spending outpaced growth, borrowing replaced investment, and deficits were chronic, not accidental. The implications of that, sir, you know, Scratchy, maybe I'm going to because I don't have a lot of time here. Let me get to Scratchy, and then I get to John. Wrap up with Perry. If we're not at the table, we're on the menu. Joshua, I see Scratchy is on a break. Hello.
Greetings, sir. Greetings.
Chime in, sorry.
Greetings, Perry. How are you?
Greetings, Joshua. That's a powerful.
That's a powerful what?
That's a power. Your name is a powerful name.
Thank you, sir. I hope that the God that I serve, that I serve him in the right way so that I can walk in his power.
Yes.
You know, those who are baptized in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ ought to know better that truth represents who the Lord is. It says he's the way, the truth, and the life. Right, Perry?
Amen, Pastor Joshua.
No, Minister Perry, I know you and you know me. It's just that you don't know who you're talking to. Right? Now, we are brothers. It's just that one of our brothers have gone astray, following after lies. But let us reason in love, my brother. I hear you talking a lot of things that are far from the truth, my brother, and I'm speaking to you in love about this matter. Let us start. This is from Google. The Financial Sector Adjustment Company, FinSAC, was established in January 1997 by the People's National Party's government of Jamaica, led by Prime Minister P.J. Patterson and Finance Minister Dr. Omar Davies. Right? That is one. Right? Now, let us move on further. Another one from Google. Based on widely circulated reports and public discourse regarding the 1990s Jamaica financial crisis, Mark Golding is often identified as having served as an advisor to the then Minister of Finance, Dr. Omar Davies. Let us move on further. You said something that I also want to correct. In the 1990s, the world economy was defined by rapid globalization, the post-Cold War expansion of free markets, and a technology-driven boom. So when you say that in the 1990s, the world economy was suffering, we are now proving that this is false. It featured low inflation, declining unemployment, dropping to 4% in the US by 2000, and robust growth, often called a golden era. Notice the term, a golden era, which means that it was doing so good that the Western world was the envy of the rest of the world in terms of economic boom. And finally, you mentioned about debt to GDP falling under Omar Davies. Again, this is false. Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio has experienced dramatic transformation, moving from over 100% and often over 140 for most of 1990 to 2015 period, to a record low of approximately 60 to 65% in 2024 to 2025. So everything you have said, I'm able to disprove it right here with the facts.
Well, Joshua, I think you're a bit mistaken.
One moment, my brother. Not me mistaken, unless you're...
I've been listening to you for quite some time. You have to give me an opportunity to explain what I said. Thank you. So the first thing that you have to, yeah, man, and you said that one of the brothers in Christ are misled, but I'm pretty sure it's not me. So Omar Davies inherited a high debt to GDP, right?
No, sir. That's false.
You have to allow me to speak, though, Joshua. You got that opportunity, and I listened to you. I listened to you. So Omar Davies, in his reports,
hold on, Perry.
Inherited.
I have to take a break. Hold on.
Listeners, could you please tap the screen and repost the live, please? Thank you.
All right. My time for this is almost done. So hold on, Perry. I can't stay here all night, you know.
Yeah, I won't be long here, but he went very long.
No, what I want you to do is to respond, and then I'm gonna give Joshua a chance to combat and Scratchy and Harry, and then we end there.
Yeah, man, no problem. Quickly.
Right.
So I know persons know that PJ was the listen, he inherited a high debt to GDP. By 2005, the debt to GDP was reduced to approximately 56%. That is on the same Google that you read from, Joshua. So it was the work of Omar Davis that brought the debt to GDP reducing to approximately 56%. And that was commendable, and that there's no argument in that. The next thing you mentioned was about FinSac. FinSac wasn't a problem. FinSac was a solution to a problem. And oftentimes, Joshua, my brother in the Lord, people talk about FinSac as if FinSac was intended to do something bad. So when I said that Omar Davis did not create FinSac, I'm not talking about the initiative FinSac. I'm talking about the problems that came during that period. All right. The next thing that you said was just two things. You said something else. I'm trying to remember. You mentioned something else about booming, the time that the golden era. My brother, citing two countries having a good economic time during that period is not a testament to what was happening on the global scene. If you understand basic international relations, during that time, several other countries were also experiencing turmoil in their economy, right? And some of that did impact Jamaica. So when I said that there was a difficult time during that period, I'm not being dishonest. I wouldn't come here and lie. So I'm just trying for you to understand that the strict policy management of Omar Davis, yes, I understand how some persons feel about him, but by 2005, this is facts, the debt to GDP was reduced to 56%. FinSac was...
Where you get that info from, Perry?
On Google.
No, allow him, Scratchy. Scratchy,
No, you can search
I have
it
a
up.
hammer waiting on him. I have a hammer waiting on him, Scratchy.
No,
Make him
but-
continue.
No, we can all Google it. It's there. it's there. It's there. I'm not making up. I can literally show. I'm reading from Google. So and approximately 56% by 2000.
Is the article on Google from Omar Davis?
Oh, hold on, Scratchy. I have a hammer waiting on him, man. Let him finish.
No, man. No. Perry, I'll caution you to ensure that document is from.
I will cite my
document here.
source, Harry. Harry, I have a hammer waiting on him, and I will cite my source and prove him to be wrong. Don't let him finish.
Again, reading from what I've seen here. Again, FinSac wasn't the problem, and I'm happy somebody is saying that in the comments. FinSac wasn't the problem, ladies and gentlemen. And I know sometimes persons talk about FinSac as if the aim was to just rob people.
Yeah, but I don't know that we are talking about FinSac tonight, you know. What we are discussing is Jamaica being off the menu and on the table. And I don't know that the FinSac debate is something that I want to get into. I just want us to focus on what led us to be on the menu for so long, yes, and what we did to get off, and how we should not go back. Joshua.
Thank you, sir. Now, Mr. Perry in Christ, you know I love you, my brother, and I say this not to be token, not as a matter of tokenism. but I really mean it from my heart. But you are spewing falsehood and it must be corrected. Now, from macro trend, you can read it for yourself. Macro trend and the IMF staff report. So two sources I'm citing for you to check. It says Jamaica's public debt to GDP ratio in 2005 was approximately 121% to 100.
Yes, to 127%, yes.
Right? I'm citing two reputable sources, Macro Trend and IMF staff report. You can read them for yourself. In 2005 was 121 to 127%, indicating a very high debt burden during that period, right?
Joshua, it increased after, you can't just read a part of the information, Joshua. I can't appreciate that.
Sir,
it increased after.
You asked me to give you an opportunity to speak, and I was respectful. I'm not saying you're being disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful.
No. I can't give you that.
Let him finish though, Perry. Let him.
I can't give you that name, but you cited 2005. No, I am now citing the same year that you gave, not a different year. And I'm citing two reputable sources that are not colluding. Macro Trend out of Atlanta and IMF staff report. All right. And this is the 2005 to 2006 fiscal year indicated public debt to GDP ratio of 127.3%. And it goes into details giving you more. Right. Now, Neighbour asked a very critical question. Right. And you have sought to put the benefit and the decline in debt to GDP at the feet of the PNP. That also is false. That started under Bruce Golding when he started the fiscal responsibility framework, right? And he introduced it around 2010, right? And he strengthened it over time. And it was designed to ensure macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability and economic growth. That's where it began, even though you guys tried to place it squarely at the feet of Omar Davis, which he doesn't deserve any credit for. I will not even say maybe. Omar Davis was a failure. And you said that people, the rest of the Caribbean copied him. Nobody copied anything from Omar Davis. In fact, the first time we heard about negative growth, which really is a euphemism for decline, was under Omar Davis. That was the first time we heard the term negative growth. There's no such thing as a negative growth. You either decline or you grow. And that was the first time we ever heard the euphemism negative growth, and is when he could not explain to the Jamaican public why we continually had decline after decline. And you also stated falsely again that that we had a very high, yes, we had a high debt to GDP in 1989.
Hold on, Perry. Hold on, give me your time.
I never said you lied. I said it was false. Right? Now, in 1989, when the PNP took over in February, it was debt to GDP was 105%, right? Which was climbing because at the time the hurricane of 1988 just came in, so it caused it to bump up a bit, just similarly to what happened here with Melissa, right? So after Melissa, our debt to GDP bumped up a little, but it would have leveled off by 1990. Mr. Siaga cautioned the then government, right? The new government that had taken over, not to pursue the free market route so quickly without having the necessary framework in place. Right? But the government did not listen. And that is what brought us to where we were in terms of the high debt, the high unsustainable debt. So, sir, I would encourage you. I know you're very passionate, and I have no doubt that you are passionate about the country, but you're woefully misled. And I would encourage you as a brother in Christ and as a fellow Jamaican and as another male who I believe that you may love Jamaica, right? To go and do some independent research, independent of the party that you so robustly support, to do your own research and not to listen to them.
Let me ask you to move on. And I also want to prepare to quick thing and move on.
So did debt reduce, Joshua? because two things are happening at the same time. Because I'm reading from the same Minister of Education report, because Omar Davis had an interview done. He had a report. I'm not sure if you've seen that. And there are several questions asked to Mr. Omar Davis. And simultaneously, Joshua, there are two things happening. I didn't refute you saying that the debt to GDP went up, but did it reduce to 56% approximately at any point in time?
You said 2005. No time in 2005.
Absolutely not.
No time in 2005 did it go to that.
Absolutely not. You know,
Perry, to prove the point to Perry, in 2004, there was a Hurricane Ivan, devastation in Jamaica. So there's no way, after a hurricane like that, Jamaica economy would have 56% of GDP in 2004. And Mr. Perry, I think you should retract that statement for misleading neighbor rights then.
But I'm reading from what the sources are saying.
No, you're reading from 89 Hope Road.
Sir.
That's what you're reading from.
Omar Davis was a charlatan.
You're reading from a document from Hope Road.
Omar Davis would speak of himself in glowing terms, but his speech and the facts were not in correlation with each other.
Sorry. Can I clear this up for Joshua, for the listeners? Did the debt to GDP at any time go as low as 57% as is suggested by Perry? Where is that information?
It's right
the data
here. It's right here.
Hold on. Where is that information coming from?
Perry said that in 2005. We don't see that. That's no way. That's about 127% in 2005, neighbor.
Yes. Hello.
Share the link. Share the link to me.
2005, the same year, neighbor, Jamaica was branded as the murder capital of the world.
We ever had a debt to GDP at 57%. In what year, Perry?
So I'm going to read.
No, let's pause the program and confirm that. No,
we can search it up, man.
Hold on.
Perry, send it to me. Send it to me. I can pull it up right now. So send it to me.
Let's pause the striking program and
we were at some point somewhere in the 60s or at one point in time in the earlier 90s, but no, we were 56% in 2005.
Trusted world.
The faculty and they're just broad based.
We're gonna confirm that. Hold on, dear listeners. Let's figure this out here. We don't want no.
Harry, I'm going to send you right now.
Hold on. All right, let's clear that up, and before we move on, let's clear it up. Yeah,
that's common sense. That's common sense, neighbor. Everybody know that Jamaica the DG could not be 56%. That's common sense.
Anyways, as the source says,
hold on, Perry.
No, I'm just telling Harry that I sent it to him.
Okay.
Yes, so you can check it.
All right, great.
All right.
Because it's there. It's clear as day. Yeah.
Joshua, you were saying something?
Yes, sir. So I Googled again, and I asked, has Jamaica ever had debt to GDP of 57% in its history? That's how wide I Googled. It says, yes, Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio has fallen to and below 57% in its history, specifically during periods before the rapid debt accumulation of the 90s. Not during the 90s, before.
Could never.
All right, so Harry is going to read. Harry is going. I'm laughing, neighbor, but Harry will read exactly what I sent him, and he can just confirm.
And Mr. Perry, earlier on, Mr. Perry, you said that we're not giving Mr. Omar Davis any form of credit. Mr. Perry, did Portia Simpson give Omar Davis any credit?
As I said, what is his name? Who is it? Scratchy?
Yeah, did Portia Simpson give Omar Davis credit?
As I said before to you, Scratchy, Harry is gone to do the reading.
Different thing that we are talking about. Did the IMF give Omar Davis credit? Did the World Bank give Omar Davis credit? Mr. Perry, Mr. Omar Davis was finance minister for how long? How long was Mr. Omar Davis the finance minister of Jamaica?
Scratchy, if you don't want to give Omar Davis any credit, it's fine. Yes,
no, I'm just showing you that Mr. Omar Davis was a dismal failure because not for the problem that we are going through right now. Because if Mr. Omar Davis was so good as you come and talk about Perry,
I did not make it.
Perry.
I didn't say
when the PNP formed back government in 2011, late 2011, early 2012, the PNP could never put back Omar Davis nowhere near the Minister of Finance, no financial organization around the world, no multilateral agency around the world, no local economist, no one wanted to see about that guy at the Minister of Finance. If he was so good, why were multilateral agency telling us and telling the government at the time that don't put back this man nowhere near the government kitty? Omar Davis was a failure, Perry, man.
Nobody came and made it seem as if Omar Davis was a knight in shining armor. All I'm simply saying is that during his 14-year tenure, there were fluctuations in the debt to GDP. That is not me guessing. That is facts. It was fluctuating, and that's what I was telling Joshua, that nobody is misled. But you cannot be one-sided with the facts. There were fluctuations during the man's tenure.
Tap the screen, please.
That's also true.
All right, so we're getting some information here.
Yes.
Coming up.
Harry can read it. Harry's supposed to find it.
Yeah, give us a second. Very important.
Harry, I think
yes, Harry, you read what I said, right? Marcia, fluctuating means going up or going down. Fluctuating is not just in one direction. Fluctuating can go up and down. Let us define the terms and understand what we're saying here.
Listeners, please tap the screen.
My common sense, Perry, seem to tell me that Jamaica had a major hurricane in 2004, Hurricane Ivan. So if 2005 Jamaica economy was 56% GDP, that would have showed me that Jamaica the GDP was way less than 50% then. Because I would expect a Hurricane Ivan push up the GDP. I don't see how Jamaica was 56%.
You can confirm what I sent if it is true. Yes. Harry, suppose. Yes.
I think
all right.
I think
all right, Harry.
The article, Perry.
Harry. Well, I've just been sent the debt to GDP for the last 20 years. So in 1990.
You hearing me, neighbor?
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, Harry got it, my neighbor. Go ahead, Harry.
Go ahead. Okay.
Perry, I think you've misread the article, Perry, and that's fine. External debt is not debt to GDP. That's a difference, right? So let me read the section. It says the stock of public and publicly guaranteed external debt stood at 364.6 billion, which is 5.567 million US at the end of March 2006. This represents an increase of 17.5% compared with the stock of 310.4 billion at the end of 2005.
That's not what I'm saying.
In US terms, hold on, Perry. In US terms, the external debt rose. Perry, that's what is in the document, Perry.
No, that's not what I'm saying to you.
Right? Hold on, Perry. This was due to increases in both central government and government guaranteed debt. As a percentage of GDP, the external debt remained relatively flat at 56.6% at the end of the financial year 05-06, compared with the 56.5% at the end of the year 04-05. External debt is not debt to GDP.
So you read what I sent you? Harry,
I took the screenshot. You want me to go back? Go back feet again?
All right. Harry.
Yes, neighbor.
Please explain to the listeners what debt to GDP means.
Hold on, neighbor, are you hearing me?
I am hearing you loud and clear, man. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm getting a feedback from my end.
Oh, wow. No.
All right. Hearing me clear? Yeah, I think I'm hearing you good now, neighbor.
Yeah, debt to GDP. Tell us what that means.
Right. So the debt to GDP, it really measures a country's, or in terms of the government, debt against its economic output, right? Which is, we know, is a major indicator of how a country is being governed. Now, when we look at that, what we read, Perry, that 56 that you're mentioning is actually not debt to GDP. That is actually external debt itself.
Hold on there, Harry. Hold on there, Harry. In 1990, who was prime minister? Who was in power?
People's National Party and PJ Patterson was the finance minister at the time. The
debt to GDP was 138.74. In 1991, who was prime minister? 1991.
91, PJ Patterson took over.
Debt to GDP was 232.83%. 1992.
Remained as PJ Patterson as the prime minister, and Omar Davis got minister of finance.
The debt to GDP was 123.61%, which means that the debt to GDP fell from 91 to 92, but in 93 it was 121, 94 it was 94%, 95 83%, 1996 it was 72, 1997 it was 73%, 1998 81%, 1999 88%, 2000 it was 98%, in 2001 who was prime minister in 2001?
Patterson.
117, 202, 127, 203, 127, 204, 122, 205, 121, 206, 117. 207 is when the elections were held?
Yes, sir. October.
The debt to GDP when the JLP took power was 113% in 2007. It climbed under the Labour Party, and in 2016 when Holness took it, it was 115.89%.
And it climbed on the Labour Party Neighbour as a result of the global recession.
That needs a little adjustment, Neighbour. It was not 115. I think it was 127 when
in 2016.
Yes.
Huh?
Well, Neighbour, when you finish, Neighbour, I'll give the listeners an understanding between external debt and debt to GDP.
Go ahead, do that now.
Okay, so the external debt is actually the total money that a country owes to its lenders.
To foreigners.
Right. To foreign lenders.
Foreign lenders, specifically foreign lenders.
Yeah. And I just explain what debt to GDP is. So, Perry, the article that you sent was speaking of external debt, not the actual debt to GDP.
So can we hear Mr. Perry conceding?
We're saying that Omar Davis failed. There's no good.
Miserably.
No. Hold on. Let's be clear. So there was no point under the leadership of the PNP that the debt was 57%. No point.
So Omar Davis for you guys is the reason.
Hold on, Perry. We get past that. I just want to be clear with the listeners.
Yes, he was the reason why 22% poverty rate was in Jamaica, Perry. He was the reason why Red Stripe had to pay public service workers, public sector workers. He was the reason why police had to take taxi upon crime scene.
That's not Scratchy. That's not true, Scratchy.
No, that is actually true.
Perry,
that is actually true.
Perry, police just have to take taxi upon crime scene.
Where do you get that information from?
Boy, that means you're so engrossed in painting that you can't search independently.
That's not true, Scratchy.
It is true. It is very true.
All right. Do we have Harry back yet? I wanna clear this up. Hello, Harry. Are you back?
Is anything that I could help with Neighbour? The difference between debt to GDP and external debt? Was that what you wanted?
No, I wanted, he has a document there that Perry sent him that he was.
Oh, look in our chat, Neighbour. I sent it in our chat as well.
Yeah, man, I saw it. I just want to be clear that Perry was not reading from the document properly when he said that the debt to GDP fell to 57%. That was not correct, right?
That was actually external debt.
Okay, so I wanted Mr. Perry to concede that not an embarrassment, Perry, just a misread, right?
Go again, Neighbour.
You weren't misleading, you misread.
No, I wouldn't mislead the public, man.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that. So you did not mislead them. You just mistakenly read that, right?
So what I read and I sent it to
We were misled. We might say we were not intentionally misled, but we were misled.
Yes.
May I read just
before you move on, Joshua? Because this is what the debate is about. You are conceding, Perry, that this is just you misread that, eh?
So the article that Harry got, yeah, man, the external debt is definitely different from the debt to GDP.
Fine. So the listeners are clear. That's all. No problem. Great.
Perry, I don't know why you're switching to Perry. You would have been a good labor right, you know. I don't know why you're switching.
I was never a labor right.
Perry, I know better than that.
You ever attended the labor right function? You ever attended the JLP function, Perry?
Mr. Neighbour, I was never a labor right. Don't make them.
Perry, have you ever attended any JLP function?
Perry,
hold on, Neighbour, turn that down my answer.
Perry, I can tell you even where you're coming from.
I can tell you where I was. Let me tell you where I was.
No, I can tell you where you even come from because I
know you attended any JLP function.
So the man not gonna tell you, Scratchy. Let me tell you, I was invited to perform, Mr. Neighbour, at a JLP concert. Right, and I was paid to perform. I've never voted for JLP before. I've never voted for JLP before. Why you laughing, Scotty? I've never voted for JLP before. And yes, I've been at meetings, but I was never a laborite. Don't tell anybody that.
Do you know Kids in Town? Do you know Kids in Town, Perry?
Of course.
How do you know Kids in Town?
I wish not to disclose that here.
Well, I tell you that I know you.
That doesn't mean I'm a laborite. Joshua, how can you prove to me that I was?
All right. So let me get back to the conversation so that we don't stray. Just to give you information that you can tap into, there are media reports indicating that some points in time, police officers in Jamaica have had to use taxis to respond to emergencies and crime scenes due to transportation shortages. Specifically, a Jamaica Gleaner article from February 2023 reported that police officers in the Frankfield division of Clarendon were forced to hail taxis to respond to emergency calls.
That's right.
This is not a myth. This is reality under the PNP.
I witnessed that firsthand myself.
I've
police
never
coming
witnessed
out of taxis with big book in them hand and pen.
I'm speaking for myself.
If you want me to read further, it says resource shortages. Despite investment, key details regarding this situation include resource shortages. And despite investment in service vehicles, shortages force officers to rely on public transportation. That is part of the report. This is not a myth. This is the life under the PNP. So this is in relation to the very topic that Neighbour is discussing now. I don't want to stray from it, but Mr. Perry, it's not that we are opposed to our fellow Jamaicans who so happens to be PNP. What we're opposed to is the policies that the PNPs pursue, which has always been detrimental to Jamaica.
Always, Joshua?
Always.
You can't say that, Joshua. You can't say that.
I did, my brother. I did.
No. You can't say that. So the PNP has done no good for this country.
Perry, we're not going to do that part, Perry. We're not
no,
going to
that's
do that.
what Joshua is saying. No. That's what Joshua is saying.
No, that's not what Joshua is saying, Perry.
No, but that's Joshua, answer me, Joshua. PNP has done no good for the country.
That's not what I said, sir. That's not what I said.
So you'll give PNP some credit.
Right.
Hold on, Perry. What we're saying, right, on the topic is the People's National Party placed us for a good 3 decades.
On the menu.
On the menu. And not at the table.
Yes.
Boy, I wouldn't forgive me, but I wouldn't say that. I think
But when were we? No, hold on, Perry. When were we ever at the table
with the PNP?
Yeah,
you mentioned the 4 years of Portia.
I said, Perry, that the former finance minister said. Did you know this, Perry, that there were negotiations taking place in Washington? As a matter of fact, there was a particular state lady that had to call to beg for Jamaica's case to be considered outside of the IMF. And when the Minister of Finance went there with his team, the minister was humiliated.
Neighbor, if I may add to what you just said, one of the jokes that they had in Washington, and yes. I can tell you where to find it, Perry, The Economist magazine. One of the major jokes that they had in Washington was, has Jamaica failed yet?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they were expecting it to be a catastrophic collapse. And Peter Phillips said it. I'm going to find that interview and play it,
Neighbor. Around the world, we were being called close to becoming the Greece of the West.
Yes.
That's how bad it was, Perry.
And did the haircut that Bruce Colin orchestrated, wasn't that tantamount to a default?
It was.
Yeah, JDX 1 and 2.
It was.
What is Mr. Perry? What is Mr. Perry talking about? When did the PNP have Jamaica at the table?
Yeah, but PNP did not go negotiating on behalf of Jamaica and make it look like we could have risen on our own like we have done now. PNP was negotiating for debt write-off, neighbor. That's what PNP was hunting for, debt write-off.
Yeah.
And the IMF was saying that no way we can give you guys that.
And Scratchy, when the Prime Minister Holness went to Mandible and spoke about bitter medicine, what was he talking about?
He was talking about what was to come, neighbor. He was talking about the economic situation that we were in, neighbor. And the PNP laugh and rallied and use it against him to win the election. Neighbor.
Yes.
They laugh at him, neighbor. And neighbor, the then Prime Minister who won that election promised us an IMF deal in 2 weeks.
Well, she was out of her depth.
She promised us an IMF deal in 2 weeks, neighbor. And it took us so long to get that IMF deal. And neighbor, that IMF deal that Jamaica came out with was one of the most austerity IMF deal in the history of IMF.
Yes, I know we're paying for it. We put tax party.
In fact, I'm going to show you the result of what PNP did. And let me show you, Perry, and I want you to objectively research these information. The Highway 2000 that was built, we borrowed money from France. They built the highway, got a 50-year concession to run the highway, guaranteed every June a 20% increase. And if there is a default in terms of the amount that they expect, the Jamaican government guaranteed them that they would pay the difference if there's a difference. In addition to that, we owed JPS $7 billion, which is $700 million when this government took over from the PNP. That's where the PNP brought the country to, right? And everything was done, Mr. Perry, believe it. We're not trying to be hard on the PNP. It is a reality. And Perry good conscience demand that we be honest in our discourse.
Perry knew that in the 90s, people had to eat nutritious bull and meal for lunch.
But Joshua, Scratchy and Neighbor, I think what I'd put to Perry is looking for as the next generation, Perry. All right. How do you think we can maintain a seat at the table now, being that we've finally moved from the menu?
Why you believe we moved from the menu, though?
What?
I'm asking.
Oh, come on, Perry. What type of nonsensical question is that? What do you mean, why you believe we move from the menu?
Not because we could get a lot of money in loan, Mr. Neighbor. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're off the menu, to be honest,
Did you listen? Did you? I spent
3.5% reduction in unemployment period.
All right, so
8% poverty rate coming from over 20%, Mr. Perry.
I just did, Mr. Neighbor, to be very honest, I saw some financial accomplishments by the PNP, and I cannot say that PNP has done nothing for Jamaica. And I'm not saying this because I'm a PNP supporter. I think it's unfair to say that PNP has done nothing to benefit.
Perry, you come back with that same rhetoric, and we're saying we're not saying that. We're saying it is under them that we were placed on the menu. And I'm saying, this is my view, that whatever gains you will allude to is minuscule to the disaster that was created. The cons outweighs the pros, Perry. And that is
Good evening,
facts.
everybody. Good evening.
And Harry,
thank you.
While we were on the menu,
hold on.
While we were on the menu,
son.
neighbor, we weren't have any nutritional value. We never have no vitamins. We never have nothing. We weren't even being eaten. We were being pushed aside. People didn't even want to see us on the menu while we were on the menu.
Let me ask a quick question, neighbor. Perry keep on saying what the PNP has done. I know your father is a good father, so let me take him out of it. But I'm just going to make reference to father of Mr. Perry. If your father was not living at home and he visited you 3 times per year, and yet he lived in the same community and just give you money and leave, wouldn't you have said that he contributed to your life? Yes or no?
Yes, he contributed.
But would you call him a good father and only come and see you 3 times per year?
It would be based on the circumstances, though.
No, I'm asking you this simple question. Would you call him a good father and he had opportunity?
So if he had, so if he had opportunity to come and spend more time with me and he didn't, then I wouldn't say he was a great father. But then
the PNP had opportunity to do better with Jamaica, and that is how they treated Jamaica.
But there were different context matters, though, Joshua. There were a lot of things happening.
Neighbor, over to you, neighbor. Sorry.
All right. Good evening. Good evening, caller. Hold on. Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, if I may.
Hold on, sir. Is it your first time here?
It is actually.
Please
thank you for being
here. Hold on, please. Please observe the rules, sir, and conduct yourself with decorum. Okay, please.
I don't know the rules. Please tell me them.
Well, the rules are that your conduct will determine how long you stay up.
Oh, okay. That's not a problem. I don't intend to stay long because I'm at work.
Okay.
You don't intend to stay long, so you intend to be disrespectful then?
No.
You should say don't intend to be disrespectful or rude.
Hello, neighbor. The rules. No? The rules?
About the rules
because
again.
That was absolutely uncalled for. No? You don't think so?
Excuse me, sir. I am
saying, sir. You said you don't intend to stay long.
You have joined someone's space for the first time, and I'm just taking the time to explain to you that here we expect you to conduct yourself in a way that befits the decorum of the program. That's not a problem.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man, it's not a problem. So I would hope for just maybe 30 seconds or less. I'll preface my thoughts with this. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but never their own facts. It is, in fact,
you are quoting something there that baby, it's too late. What are you talking about, sir? Where you get that?
I'm talking about
where you get that statement from?
I am talking about
where you get that from.
It is a quote.
From who?
It doesn't matter who it's from.
Well, you can't quote something. No, man, come now. You can't quote something that you don't know where it come from. So you repeat it.
That don't make sense what you say. People quote people all the time. You don't necessarily have to be.
No, that you are plagiarizing. And I'm asking you if you know where that quote came from.
Tell me where it's from, hello neighbor.
But
I do, but tell me where it's from. Because it don't matter. I am trying to make a point, and you are You're just stalling.
No.
Will you allow me to make the point?
Yeah, I'm going to allow you. I'm asking you,
Yeah,
sir.
But what is the reason for stalling? Just allow me to make the point.
Oh, you're still stalling? No, not stalling.
All right, so Daniel Patrick said that quote.
Oh, okay, there you go. Go ahead.
Daniel Patrick, but I'm wondering why is he allowing?
Then why you didn't just say it?
Why you say it didn't know? Why you say it didn't know?
Say it. Just say it, man. Go ahead.
Come on, man. Aren't we all supposed to be Jamaicans discussing the betterment of Jamaica here?
But sir, come now. Just go ahead. You are stalled now.
Thank you. So as I said, I was listening to you guys, and you all made some comments in relation to what happened between the years of 2008 to 2013 thereabout. Primarily the issue in relation to the IMF and the people that went to the IMF and the deals that they took and what they went there for. And I'm confused because after the recession, Jamaica was locked out of the international market. And when the recession